So say that somebody gives you a brief at work. What do you think most people do once they get a brief in their hand? That's right, they go straight into solutions. They go straight into doing. That's what they're hardwired to do, right? Make sure that you get the upfront bit right, that you get the brief right, or else you might end up a couple of weeks, couple of months later with a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. I had a brief this morning with a client. I whip out these kind of questions. So it's a questioning matrix for you to get you better at figuring out what the challenge is. Once you have clarity on the challenge and the brief, then it will be a lot easier to build solutions against that. Once I'm done with the video, I'm going to put up a little link for you to download this tool because, you know, sharing is caring. As you've noticed in my videos before, I like to use pieces of paper. It invites people to be a bit more messy and to be less perfect. Key thing is that you ask questions around 6 key areas. A lot of people ask questions, but we ask the same kind of questions. So to make sure that you're asking questions in the right dimensions, here is a simple tool for you. I use a piece of paper, I draw a nice line in the middle, nice and messy. And basically this matrix has 6 types of questions. What should we do? Get nice blue, bit blue, good. In first quadrant are questions around context. In this quadrant, you write down questions that have to do with the context of the brief. What is the brief? Where did it come from? Why are you doing this now? This is to get a lot of clarity around the brief at hand. Most people will ask questions from this quadrant. The second one is picture of success. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. This is about getting super clear about what is the outcome, what are people expecting. So ask people, do you have a picture of success? How are you going to measure the solutions we're going to give you are yay or nay? What would you like other people to say about you? If this were a post on the front of a magazine, what would it say? Okay, the next one then is constraints. There are always constraints. So here's where you ask typical questions around what you can and what you cannot do. So things like, what resources do we have available? How much money can we spend? How much time do we have? What can we definitely not do? Things like that are making sure that you've got some parameters, because the worst briefs, people trust me this one, the worst briefs out there are the ones that are completely open and say anything is in, because then you have no focus. So make sure you have some constraints. I had a client that once says, we have no constraints. I said, fine, I can give you a solution, but I'm going to cost you $1 million. And he said, no way. So there's always a constraint. This is about finding them out early on. Here comes the most difficult bit out of any equation. People are always the most unpredictable and tricky bit of everything. Here you ask questions around anybody that is directly or indirectly involved in your project. Who do we need to involve on this project? Who do we need to talk to? Who has a say in this? Who else is looking into this challenge? Maybe there are some external people looking at this. Who's going to be against this? Maybe there's another team or there's another company that might be getting in the way. So who's going to sign off on things? Who's going to help us move along? Things like that. Making sure you know the people involved in this project. Right, next one. Lessons learned already. See, when you're talking to somebody about a challenge, it's not like they're brand new to it. Most likely they've been struggling with this for a while. So they might already have some learning. They might have found out a few things that worked or that haven't worked. This is also a good time to ask for any related research, data, maybe some prototypes which they've tested before, or some customer feedback. Don't start from scratch. Start with what you have. That's what lesson learned is. And the last one, and this is where often meetings go wrong, next steps. What are the next things that we need to do? So getting clear about what needs to be delivered. What's the next thing? Is it a plan for your boss? Is it a briefing for the agency? Is it a meeting with the project team to get clear about who's going to do what? So by asking questions around these 6 areas, it's not waterproof, nothing's waterproof, but this makes sure at least you're asking questions in different dimensions to make sure you get a full picture. There are several ways to run this activity. One way is, like I just did, take a big piece of paper, draw a matrix, take a pen and write questions, maybe post this or write questions in here. You could do this by yourself with a team. Maybe put big pieces of paper on the wall that have constraints and these kind of things on top, and then ask your team to take a pack of post-its and write down questions. Whatever works. Thank you so much again for watching. Hit that subscribe button, share this video, because I know there's more people in the world who need to see this, and we'll see you here next time for another video.